Some people's stories don't begin with victories, but with struggle. Not with support, but with loneliness. Not with gifted opportunities, but with attempts to break out of a vicious circle. Today you will hear exactly such a story. The story of a young man named Darren, who was born in a place where dreams usually die in childhood, but one day decided that his life didn't have to repeat someone else's script. Darren was born in a troubled neighborhood on the outskirts of a big city. Old concrete buildings, peeling walls, playgrounds with rusty metal structures. That was his world. At the age of 4, he saw the lines outside the free meal center. At 5, the arguments of adults on the stairwell. At 6, he understood that poverty was not just a word, but the very air around him. But even amid this gray landscape, Darren had his own small joys. "Someday I'll build a real one," he whispers quietly. Darren had a big family: his mother Helen, his younger brother Tyrone, and his little sister Maylee. And then there was Uncle Roy, who was supposed to stay with them temporarily, and ended up staying for years. His mother worked 2 jobs. In the morning, at the school cafeteria. In the evening, as a cleaner at the shopping mall. She often came home late, took off her shoes, and simply collapsed into a chair without saying a word. Little Darren would place a plate of dinner in front of her and could see how hard her life was. At school, he was quiet. Not weak, quiet. He looked at the world more attentively than others. He remembered every detail, listened to every phrase. But studying wasn't easy for him. Some classmates laughed at his old clothes. One of the boys, Marcus, once told him, "You'll never get out of here. Everyone becomes just like their family." Those words cut deeply. But one day Miss Carter appeared, and the math teacher. She saw something more in Darren. "You can become anyone, son, but you need to believe in it more than anyone else." It was the first sentence that gave him something resembling hope. But as soon as you stepped out of school, reality pressed down again. Fights often broke out in the courtyard. Police cars drove by far too often, but always too late. Darren tried hard to stay away from all of it. He was helped by his friend Jamal, a guy with a strong spirit and a clear mind. One day Jamal said, "If we don't start changing our lives now, we'll stay here forever. Is that what you want?" Darren shakes his head. "Then fight for your place." These words became the second push. In high school, Darren decided to apply for a scholarship. It was his only chance to get into university. But at home, he was increasingly told, "Who needs you? Scholarships aren't given to people like us." It was especially hard to hear from Uncle Roy. "Stop dreaming. No one in our family went to school, and neither will you." But Darren had already begun to trust not the words of others, but his own perseverance. He studied through the nights, worked on weekends, helped his mother, and still found time to go over formulas. One morning, his mother noticed Darren standing still with his phone in his hands. What's wrong?" she asked. He held out the screen to her. "Congratulations, you have been awarded the scholarship." She looked at him for a long time. And then, for the first time in many years, she cried tears of happiness. University felt like a different world. Clean corridors, tall glass buildings, large lecture halls, labs gleaming with modern technology. The first weeks were tough. He felt like an outsider. Sometimes he would return to his room and cry quietly, so his roommate wouldn't hear. But gradually things changed. He met Leo, a cheerful Brazilian, Ami, a calm Japanese girl, and the sunny Spanish Maria. They became his team, his second family. The day had finally come. Graduation. Darren stood in his gown. In his hands was an engineering diploma. His mother sat in the front row. Golden light poured from above. Her eyes shone as if the entire hall was glowing just for her. A few months later, he received an offer from a major technology company. It was a bright, spacious office with modern workstations, green displays, and people talking about projects that seemed like pure science fiction. On his first day at work, Darren walks down the corridor in his new shirt. He holds his ID card in his hands, looks at his desk, and can't believe it's real. Colleagues shake his hand, and for the first time in his life, he hears the words, "Glad to have you on our team, Mr. Johnson." He had become respected, needed, recognized. A year later, he returns home. But now, as a grown, confident version of himself, he steps out of the car. On the porch stands his brother Tyrone, now older, more serious, and says to him, "I got into college. I want to be like you." His sister Maylee brings her school certificates, shy, but still shows them. "Look, I'm an honor student." Their mother looks at Darren, and in her eyes there is no fatigue. There is pride. Darren realizes he has done the impossible and brought his family along with him. Darren was not born with advantages. He had no connections, no money, no support. But he did the most important thing. He didn't stop. And in the moment when it seemed all his strength was gone, he said to himself, "If I give up now, no one after me will go further. I must go to the end." This phrase became his personal fuel. Every time he faced challenges at school, university, or work, he repeated it to himself. and found the strength to keep moving forward. Don't try to fix everything at once. Darren moved step by step. One lesson, one formula, one chapter. Write down one small action you can do today and do it. Create your own personal phrase like Darren did. Repeat it every day when you face challenges. Each evening, write down 3 things you are proud of today. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, not criticize. After any mistake, write down 3 lessons you learned.